Thank you, Mindy. What a pleasure it is to be here today. I'm actually here today to introduce a friend of mine and a really big shot guy from Washington, D.C., Jim Shelton. But before I do that, I want to welcome you and thank you. Mindy, you and Learning Leaders play such a vital role in our schools. And seeing 1,000 of you here in this room at the college that I went to too long ago for most of us to remember is really inspirational for me. And I say that this year with more conviction because I think the importance of Learning Leaders, the volunteers in this room, your friends and your colleagues, continues to grow in our schools. And that's because the challenges we face, particularly in tight economic times, mean we need your help even more right now. Your kids need your help even more right now. You can't pick up the paper without seeing the challenges. Just yesterday, front page story, how much more high school graduates are making in America than kids who didn't graduate from high school. How much more we need skills that our generation didn't need, but that our children are going to need to successfully compete in the 21st century. How much more challenging their environment's going to be in these tough economic times. So while all the adults fight and point fingers and say the economy's in a ditch because of this or because of that, we who care about the children have got to pull together and work together and understand however we got to where we are, our kids didn't get us there, and we can't abandon them. They are indeed our future. So each one of you, make sure you leave here today and get your neighbors and your friends and your associates at business and your colleagues, get them involved in Learning Leaders. It's just this simple. The future of our country depends upon the workforce, the education, and the development of today's children. If we blow that, we blow everything. So together, let's really make that our number one priority. Commit to it, fight for it, insist upon it, demand it. But you know, Whitney Houston had it about right. The children are our future. Teach them well and give them a sense of pride. Let the children lead. Can that be our commitment? Thank you very much. Now, we're really lucky today. We have lots of great speakers. You'll hear from a lot of inspirational people. But the man I'm about to introduce really is a special guy. He's now, as I said, he's the Assistant Deputy Secretary for Innovation and Improvement in Washington, D.C. He's one of Arne Duncan, the Secretary of Education, right-hand people. He's a key guy in what's going on. Many of you who have followed Race to the Top, I'm so proud we have Chancellor Tisch with us today, who led our state's effort to win Race to the Top. Give her a big round of applause. Because of her help, and Mike Mulgrew, who helped out on this, who you'll hear from shortly, because of their work, our state is now $700 million better off, and also money that we need for core reforms in these tough times. But Jim has been a part of this key team, and really, when you think about innovation and improvement, that's what it's all about. You know, if we don't innovate and do things differently in education, we're going to get the same outcomes. And if we do, we know we're not going to be serving our kids as well as they need to be served. So he's got a big portfolio trying to stimulate change, trying to help us think about how do we do things differently, and trying to insist that we get results. Any fool can spend money. What Jim is really about is to make sure we spend it wisely, intelligently, there's real accountability and real performance. And I've told this to Arne Duncan, and I'll tell all of you, he could not have chosen a better man for this initiative. Jim's passion about public education is something I've experienced firsthand. He's a guy who went to an historically black college in Atlanta, Morehouse College. From there, he went to Stanford Business School. From Stanford Business School, he became a hotshot at McKinsey, you know, the big consulting firm. Got very interested in education and entrepreneurship, started his own business, was bought up by a larger business. When I first met him, it was almost 9 years ago, When I became chancellor, I asked him to come to New York and work with us on Children First. He did, gave us some terrific ideas, many of which we're still using in the public schools. After that, he got bid away by the Gates Foundation. They have more money than the public schools, so they hired him away from us. And he was one of their big officials, supported some real innovation. And from there, he went to work for Secretary Duncan. He's been there for almost 2 years now. And if you read the stuff in the paper about what his innovation zone, and the other work that he's doing, you will see this is critical stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big New York City welcome to Jim Shelton. Jim?